Can you tell the difference between these two plants? So I need to stop getting drawn in by Instagram ads and marketing emails. So these are the result of a marketing email telling me about a restock at Grow Tropicals, my usual plant seller. This is a mix of new plants to the collection plus one duplicate that I've bought to see if it's any different from the first one that I've got, but also some smaller plants in there that were really good prices for the small plants, and I'm not 100% sure what's in this box as I wasn't expecting anything this big, so possibly a larger plant in here as well, but we'll find out as I unbox them. So in the smaller box there are a mix of different plant sizes, and this is definitely the largest of the bunch. This one is much bigger than I was expecting too. So this is the Epipremnum Cebu blue. So you can see there's wonderful long silvery green leaves there with that nice sort of veining texture on them. This is a really healthy plant. It's got really good long vines, as you can see, and it's got quite a few in there. So it looks quite nice trailing down, but as the vines are quite thick, they're almost quite rigid, so you can see them growing out. So I think what I'll do, like you often see in plant shops, is maybe put it in with some support instead and allow it to climb. So I think this would look really good the way these stems are currently positioned in the pot, maybe with a pyramid trellis or something like that, so that it can really fill that up and show off these wonderful leaves as they start to grow bigger. So this one has come out of the box like it's ready for the camera with all its leaves spread out to show you these wonderful colours. This is the Maranta Fascinator, as you may recognise it, with those mixes of greens and those lovely red veining details on there. I'm not sure what's happened to this in transit, but as you can see the pot has been a bit bashed there. There's also some roots coming out the bottom and the soil is completely soaked. So really not sure what's happened with this. However, I did buy it on sale, so I'm treating it as a rescue plant. So there are a couple of crispy leaves on there too. So I think I only paid about £4 for it or something like that. So very cheap plant, still got wonderful leaves, and I think just with a repot, some fresh drier soil, maybe a slightly bigger pot, this will look really lovely and grow to its full potential. I've also just noticed there are some roots as well. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but the joint just here, there are some roots coming off it as well. So what I might do when I pot it up is just bring the soil up to that level, or I could even propagate that top bit and keep the other as a separate stem. So I'll see what I do with that once I pot it up. But another lovely rescue plant to the collection. So now moving on to some Philodendrons. I've actually got 3 to show you today, but I did ask you at the start, could you tell the difference between these two? So I'll start with the smallest first. This one is the Philodendron White Wizard, and I'll bring it closer so you can see the lovely variegated leaf on there, the mottled variegation on the darker green leaf. This is only a very, very small plant in a small pot, and I can see there are some roots coming off the base of it out of the soil, so this could do with a repot to help it grow to its full potential and get lots more of these lovely variegated leaves. And the next one that I've got is the Philodendron White Knight. So looks very similar as a smaller plant. If I just bring this closer, you can see that really striking variegation on that leaf, and even the sort of newer leaf at the back there as well. Wonderful blocky variegation on those leaves. And this one is a bigger plant. It looks a little bit healthier than the other plant too. This one also needs a pot up, so I'll do that maybe at the same time that I do the other one, as there's lots of roots coming off the base there, so the soil level could definitely come up, and again to help this grow to its full potential. The way that I've differentiated these, or between these, if you ever have this challenge yourself, is the colour of the stems. Before the leaves actually develop when they're smaller plants, the colour of the stems is a good differentiator. So the White Wizard, which I've got in front, has a green or green and white stem, and the White Knight, which is now in front, has a reddish or purplish and green stem. So that's how you can tell them apart if you happen to find smaller ones. When the leaves get bigger, they should show a little bit more differentiation with the leaf shape too. Now I did say that I'd ordered a plant that I already had just to see if it was different from the first one that I ordered, and this is that plant. So this is actually the Philodendron Birkin pink that I've been talking about for a while in my various videos. I originally mentioned it in my Trends for 2023 video, and this was one of the things that I thought would be trending because it seems to be popping up on the market now. And I specifically bought the other one to make a video on this and the standard Birkin, the Birkin White or White Wave, the origins and how to care for them. So in the timeline of these videos, I've actually already made that, and that was last week's video. So if you want to go back and watch that, I'll link it at the end, or you may have already watched it. If you are a subscriber, you'll have seen that that came up previously. I just wanted to sort of break up the unboxing videos because there was one of those the week before. So this is the Philodendron Birkin pink. As you can see, it's got quite different colours to the standard Birkin. This one is much more like what I was expecting, with the pink variegation on the leaves, and I'll bring it close to the camera so you can see it in a bit more detail in just a second. I've actually got it the wrong way around, so that you can see it in a bit more detail in a second. This one is a more mature plant than I think the first one that I received. So the first one was much smaller, it had less mature leaves which were still quite green. It did have a new leaf on the way, but unfortunately that fell off while I was waiting for it to come out to make the video. That actually fell off, so I'm not sure if it was maybe the stress of transit, or maybe it just didn't like its new home. Something, it just wasn't happy. So that's why I've ordered this one, so that I could actually crack on with that video that I promised. And this is much more like what I was expecting. So if I bring this a little bit closer and show you the lovely pink colour, I think in the camera or in the light it looks still quite bright, but it is a very, very pale pink. And if I just bring that up, you can see the very bright pink to red stems, and I'll show you one of the more mature leaves, or the darker green leaves, so you can see just how that colour sort of comes up from the stem and into the leaf. So where that would usually be the white variegation, it's actually a pink variegation with a pink outline around the leaf. So this one also has a new leaf on the way actually, just there, so hopefully that will carry on with that wonderful pink variegation, and I think this will develop and get a bit darker as this leaf matures, because it is only a young leaf at the moment. So I'm really pleased with this one, and I'll keep my fingers crossed for the other one. The other little leaves do look okay, so maybe it just needs a little bit of TLC before it's showing off its colours like this one. So let's open the big box and see what's in this one. So this is the plant from the large box. This one has really spread out since I took it out of the box. You would have seen the box was very narrow, so it must have been holding all of this foliage in. You can see that it's got really long, rigid stems with these wonderful leaves on top. Structurally it reminds me a little bit of a Monstera deliciosa, but the leaves are completely different. I'm going to try and just turn it so you can see the lovely shape and colour of the leaves. So this very dark, glossy green and very, very big leaves, all made up of lots of little leaves at the end of the stem. The reason I bought this was because it looked really fascinating how the leaves change as the plant develops. So they start very small, like this one, almost like a paw or a fleur-de-lis type shape, and then get much bigger like these. And as they get even more mature, the end of the stem actually loops around like a ring, and all of the leaves come off it. So I'll try and put a photo up so you can see what the mature leaves look like. So almost like umbrellas, and I just thought that would look really striking and totally different in the houseplant collection. Definitely a conversation starter. And I wasn't even aware that these plants existed. It's the first time that I've seen one in a houseplant retailer, or online, or any retailer actually. First time that I've seen one, so this was a nice unexpected plant find, and I think it would have been a really good price if I bought it. So very nice plant at a good price, and this is actually called the Thalmatophyllum sprucianum, so I hope I've said that right. Have you heard of this plant before? Have you seen this before? Maybe you've got one. If you have, then please do share any care tips below. So I will have to do a little bit of research and hopefully care for this in the right way and keep it growing so that I get those wonderful, really unique umbrella leaves when this plant matures a little bit more. So what do you think of the plants that I've received in that order? If you have found the video interesting and you like plant related content, consider subscribing, as I'll have new videos every week, usually on a Sunday. I'll link my last week's video about the Birkin Pink and the standard Birkin, its origins and care tips, at the end if you've not watched it yet, and if you want to watch that next. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll respond to everyone, and as always, thank you for watching Grow Your Wellbeing.